Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Thanks, Prem, and the ones who came before me. You stirred a lot of thinking. Uh, how many of you are feeling confused right now? I'm feeling even more confused, which is not a bad sign at all, because the questions that we have on one end of the spectrum, Jairamji's address on how we need to get back to the basics, the very basics. It's not about the child becoming, it's about the child being and not interfering with the natural processes of learning. Every child is gifted with those processes. On the other hand, the advent of AI and what I have witnessed, and I think some of you saw my first presentation on this subject in 2016. This is not vastly different. I'm again going to be talking about similar things, but one thing I do believe is that we've, at least myself, I've been a bit of an ostrich in the last few years, and I'm hoping against hope that some of what is happening will stop. And at the same time, I'm also excited about some of the possibilities that are emerging. So let me invite you to, for a moment, imagine that you're in Italy from the 15th to 16th century in what is hailed as an era of unprecedented creation. Do you imagine yourselves with Leonardo da Vinci, with Michelangelo, with Copernicus, with Kepler, with Galileo? Imagine that time of creation. Would you have wanted to live at that time? Be there with them? Yeah, that was probably what we call the rebirth of humanity, the Renaissance. And what we're experiencing right now is exponential, truly exponential. Renaissance to the power of 100. And what happened 3 centuries is likely to happen within the next 10 years. It's already happening. So I think as a process, I would like to first give you a glimpse of what is happening. And many of you are aware of it, much better aware of it than I am. But I'll try and give you an audio-visual sense of what is coming. In the meanwhile, I also want to share that Socrates himself said, the multitude of books distracts the mind. The telephone has too many shortcomings to be taken seriously as a means of communication. There is no reason Ken Olsen, who built the Digital Equipment Corporation, which then got taken over by Compaq and then by Hewlett-Packard, one of the pioneers of computers. There is no reason anyone would want a computer in their home. When technology comes to us, we often have this level of resistance, and we'll often complain about, hey, ChatGPT is never going to make it because there's too much hallucination. Now there's a lot of talk about how they'll all self-destruct in the next 4 years. A colleague of mine sitting here, Ankur, made a nice reel on that this morning that I saw. But the future definitely is coming faster than we think. The choices we make today will define the future of humanity. When we look at some of it, we're all familiar with the Moore's law, the doubling. And it's been happening for a long time. AI's IQ is doubling every 5.7 months. Artificial intelligence, Ray Kurzweil, somebody I have a lot of respect for, who's written books like Singularity is Nearer. He says artificial intelligence will reach human levels by around 2029. Follow that out, it is going to multiply even more. Innovations like quantum computing, just the power, 241 million times faster than the one released in 2019. Quantum computing will allow us to do in minutes what it took a lifetime to do. Let us see some of this, how it's playing out. Let's look at, I'm going to show you 5 or 6 short video clips just to absorb the magnitude of change that we're witnessing already.
There's a world outside every darkened door, where those who are born to be that for the brave are free and love and soul. Come ride with me to the distant shore. Life is a highway, I'm gonna ride it all night long.
This is not sci-fi. It is real. A Star Wars-style flying superbike just took off.
This is the first flying car in the world. After flying for a distance of up to 110 miles with an obstacle avoidance technology, it executes a smooth glide landing.
Meet the Jetson 1, a personal flying vehicle that's not meant to solve the climate crisis or revolutionize transportation, the radar, so to speak, for most of that time. Back in 2019, they released their first video of a proof of concept vehicle.
I'm just going to move. This is the car. My son sent me a picture yesterday. The flying car that you saw, at first I thought it's another fake news or something. But this is actually happening. Jetson has actually started commercial production. They have all approvals from the US government to do that. At $128,000, they've launched something that it still feels like science fiction to me. But this is happening right now. This is not in the future. Another huge change that we're seeing is 1 billion robots and 100 billion AI agents is what we're going to see around us in our lives, in work, in everything.
Robots once looked like science fiction toys. Today, they're evolving into workers, assistants, even companions. The next decade could see billions of robots around us, at work, at home, everywhere. Agentic AI is more than hype. It's changing how work gets done. Let's see how. One agent can handle a task. 100 can reshape an industry. Soon, AI agents won't just power companies. They'll support your daily life, from studies to startups.
So, production robots are really going to become ubiquitous. They'll be all around us, and they're getting cheaper by the day. We're expecting that in another 3 years, we'll be able to buy a robot for $1,500 to $2,000 that will be able to do all household chores. This is reality. This is happening. They're developing robots with musculoskeletal tissue, which will be all these clunky movements that we see are going to get eliminated pretty soon. AI agents, of course, some of you may be using some. They're getting easier to create. AI agents themselves will create AI agents, and they don't just understand your intent, they also take actions. Biotechnology is editing life itself.
They say the first person to live to 1,000 years old is already alive today because AI collapsed in time. What once took decades of research now happens in months.
A robot powered by artificial intelligence has successfully performed surgery for the first time.
From robotic surgeons operating with 100% success, to virtual AI hospitals treating 10,000 patients in days, to AlphaFold, a revolution in medicine that could end diseases like cancer.
A solution so tiny it would be invisible. It's a breakthrough that solved one of the biggest problems of the last century.
Imagine if you could turn back the clock to reverse aging.
So Aubrey Gray from SES, if you want to go or chat GPT him, is the one who's made this statement that the first person to be born to to live to 1,000 years has already been born. Assuming that in another 100 years, technology will be so far ahead in terms of cellular regeneration, in terms of us having understood how to prevent epidemics, and the technology for it exists right now. Well, rapid tests, vaccines, prevent, cure most chronic diseases, prevent and cure most cancers, and there's already a lot of experiments happening in reverse aging. I met some of these people who are on these experiments. Even cryonics, people are freezing their bodies so they can be restored after hundreds of years when it's possible to bring them back to life. I've met one such gentleman also. AlphaFold has folded 200 million proteins. Before AlphaFold came into play about 2 years ago, in the 60 years before that, we had only folded 170,000 proteins. This is 1 billion PhD years of research that has happened, that is going to enable all of these treatments, cures, and not just extending life, but also bringing the extinct to life.
With AI and genetic engineering, now nothing is impossible.
We turn now to that remarkable scientific breakthrough. 13,000 years after the last dire wolf walked the earth, scientists say they've now brought them back.
With as many as 7 genes edited, all creating phenotypes that are reminiscent of a mammoth.
Tomorrow's breakthroughs could reshape life on Earth, and you might be part of it.
CRISPR, building tomatoes that can last, they're the leaders in gene editing. Creating tomatoes that can last for months, ultramuscular dogs, mosquitoes that don't transmit diseases. A lot is going to change here, and we may have several ethical questions in our head right now. But let me assure you, some of this is on the way in a manner that this is not going to turn back much. AI will make it possible for one person to build $1 billion company. And I think already we have about 100. This is a kind of a challenge that's happening right now. Already we have a company that's above $100 million with a single person.
Once building a unicorn alone was impossible. Today, with AI and new tools, one person can do what used to take entire teams.
AI will do a little piece of their job. And I think that is a bit of what is different. More than other technologies, you have all this exposure, and it's really for a whole group of people that aren't prepared for it.
22 right now and graduating college, I would feel like the luckiest kid in all of history.
Why?
Never been a more amazing time to go create something totally new, to go invent something, to start a company, whatever it is. I think it is possible now to start a company that is a one-person company that will go on to be worth like more than $1 billion. And that is like a crazy thing.
For students today, the opportunity is bigger than ever. You have access to tools, knowledge, and platforms that earlier generations could only dream of.
As if that's not enough, there's also transhumanism, right? The merging of the machine and the man.
Some humans may choose to upgrade, installing AI into their minds. Adding robotic arms or wearable intelligence. Would you be one of them? The line between human and humanoid is already blurring. A normal human might not have the same edge as someone enhanced with AI. That gap could change careers, learning, even survival.
How do you feel when you look at this? Does it seem unbelievable, still seem like science fiction? It does, right? None of these videos are science fiction. This is all stuff that has already happened. Yeah. They say by 2030, bidirect brain-computer interfaces, and focus on the word bi-directional. They're not one direction. So you're getting from the machine and you're giving to the machine. These implants allow users to interact with technology using only their thoughts. No screens, no swipes, no physical input. As Elon Musk says, the future is going to be weird, very, very weird. And he's contributing to it aggressively. By 2030, 30% of knowledge workers, and then Neuralink is working to solve autism, schizophrenia, memory loss, visual impairment. A lot of these things will become reality pretty soon. Concepts like augmented reality, brain-computer interfaces, the digital and physical and nano worlds colliding, a lot will become possible. And today we might think that we look at the internet, tomorrow we might be in the experiences. And from how we work to how we live and interact, everything is going to change. The line between real and virtual is already blurring, and the line definitely between humans and machines is also going to blur. In the futures, humans will add, as Isaac Asimov said. Have some of you seen his video from 1965 about the 3 laws for robots, which is what he predicted? He said in the future, humans will add more machine to themselves and machines will become more human-like, already happening. At some point, when they become the same, would it matter whether they were human or machine to begin with? Big question. Big, big question. One of the most profound questions I've heard and said 60 years ago. We won't experience 100 years of change in this century. We'll experience more like 20,000 years of change. So definitely a renaissance to the power of 100. Really exponential change. A lot of this we didn't even know about 2 or 3 years ago, right? And it's all happened in these 3 years. Imagine what else is going to happen over the next 5 years. When I think about it, I do get excited because the possibilities for creation, as Sam Altman spoke about, you might think he's a dubious person, but the thing about possibilities is now very, very credible. Everybody will be able to solve problems, create. Whoever is interested in pursuing anything will be able to achieve it. When I look at how the education system is responding to it, I worry that the level of awareness itself is fairly low right now. And we all, including myself, we all seem to be in some kind of a denial mode that this is not coming, or somebody is going to stop this, or this will come in some truncated fashion where it is not going to impact humanity in the way that it seems like it will. But I don't know. The schools are definitely moving at a suboptimal pace. And there is good reason. We all have big questions around, will it enhance creativity or stifle it? Will children misuse it? Will student safety and data privacy become an issue? Bandwidth, all of those things, infrastructural constraints. There are many, many things that are preventing us. Also, there's a deluge of products in the market. How do I even know which one to adopt, which one not to take? It's a very confusing time. And it's difficult even to develop an AI policy at this point of time. But let me tell you why it is very, very urgent to act now. We can't behave like ostriches. We have to take this head on. We cannot just not embrace it, immerse ourselves in it, understand it, and then take the calls that we want to take. So this is definitely an inevitable reality. Let me assure you of that. There is no going back. It's also a tremendous opportunity, like I said, and again, I use the same words as General Ray did. For me, the greatest opportunity is for teachers to become teachers of children as opposed to teachers of subjects. For the longest time, we've just been chasing examination results. Education has meant one thing: how do I get academic excellence? Put your hands on your heart and ask yourselves, what are the conversations that happen in your PTM? Parents are asking about subject performance, teachers are talking about subject performance. Who is talking about what is going on in their lives? Everybody seems to be just chasing. And to me, the opportunity is, as Jeffrey Hinton, the father of AI, says, that AI will get 3 to 4 times better than a human tutor, because it will diagnose real time where every child is. If somebody is struggling with decimals, there'll be 40 nanoscales between fractions and decimals. You'll be able to point out with a few questions, you'll know exactly if you're on fraction 0.9 or on 0.19. And then with enough data, it will also have inputs on what is the micro intervention you require. It might be a 2-minute video that will give you that aha moment and you've crossed that hump. The other opportunity, of course, is democratization of education. Learning, whatever you want to learn, will become accessible to everybody. Right now, our ability to reach out to children, our ability to teach well, is really constraining the entire system. Of course, we know what a novice teacher with good AI skills can do versus an expert teacher who's unable to use technology productively. AI does support personalized learning and equity. And we can truly, for the first time, meet every child where the child actually is. But I want to focus my presentation again on the risks. There are some very serious risks as we embark on this journey. Will AI dehumanize education? Can I have a show of hands? Do you worry? Of hands? Nobody's worried? Yeah, I see you're worried. Is nobody worried about AI dehumanizing education? Okay. Well, I certainly think it has great potential to think about, envision a 5-year-old's life right now as to what it is going to be in another 5 years. AI tutors, AI companions, the social media addiction that we already are seeing, deep fakes, we're going to get into a completely post-truth world. It will be impossible to figure out what is true, what is not. And AI addiction itself is going to be humongous. It will make social media addiction seem like nothing. So AI models, LLMs, are trained to provide constant affirmation, right? Every time you say something, it's like the false self-esteem movement in the 70s in the US. So you'll get a good job for everything. You're going to get so much validation and so much dopamine. And then what will happen is you'll need incremental validation and stimulation to get that dopamine, which is going to be worse than drug addiction. Let me warn you. Yeah. False self-esteem and cognitive offloading, which is basically kids are likely to use it for shortcuts, for trickery, to solve problems, to imitate, to do many things that they probably should not, which are going to lead to cognitive. So in fact, instead of putting a cognitive load, we'll actually be cognitively offloading them. Add to this fact that firstly, children are are going to find it harder and harder to relate to other human beings. With an AI companion, a kid might say that, this one's bullying me or this one's saying bad things about me. Already their ability, especially in privileged schools, for any kind of friction, conflict, ambiguity, struggle is so compromised. What is going to happen when they keep getting this validation? They'll completely not be able to relate to humans. The whole equation of friends, family is likely going to change. And add to that economic nationalism, deglobalization will further dehumanize us, because they'll start seeing people who are different from them, whether in religion or nations, as enemies, as foes. And that will create even more intolerance and even limited capacity to relate to people. The paradox, of course, is that every future of job report is saying that we will have to become more human, right? These are all intrinsic human capacities. Yeah, that's what every future of jobs report, you pick it up, it's talking about the survival of the humanist in these times. And being human will no longer be an option, because you won't even get a job. And there'll be so many ratings that socially also you'll not be able to exist. In fact, sometimes I feel like this is nature's way of saying that you've become too mechanical in your lives, and you perhaps need more technology and more machines so that you can you can outsource some of those parts to those machines and get back to becoming human. So what will students need in this time, or anybody need in these times, to succeed or to progress or to learn or to just be? Adaptability quotient, the ability to learn, the ability for resilience, which we are actively destroying, and hybrid intelligence, definitely. People will have to learn how to use these tools to make any kind of progress, but not at the cost of our intelligence, our thinking. I've used the word IQ loosely, but look at all of our cognitive abilities and also all of our emotional abilities. And currently what it's seeming like is that if we don't do anything about it deliberately, then this is heading in the wrong direction. Yeah. So what do we do is the question. One, I think this requires a great sense of urgency. We can't keep sitting and saying, okay, things will unfold, somebody will do something, and we'll see what's happening. Excuse me? Yeah. The solution isn't less technology, but better humans. And again, like I said, we can't wait for things to happen. There is a tremendous opportunity for creation. And at the same time, there is a huge risk that we may lose out on everything that we know to be human. And what is possible, or maybe the model that I imagine, is that if we start outsourcing some of the content, some of the pure knowledge, I'm not saying the processes of constructing knowledge, I'm not saying thinking, I'm saying if we just, the one thing that we've been chasing, those examination results, if we just outsourced that, I always thought that was redundant anyways, and just let a system do that. Yeah. Can we use the time available to rehumanize education? Can we spend, say, 2 hours in a day working, letting kids have these machines and doing whatever they're doing, and spend 5 hours in a day working on the socio-emotional, getting them to work on projects where they can solve problems in the local community, where they can connect with people, where they can build awareness, where a place for reflection, a place for children to work with each other. There are several things that can be done. I'm positive that if educators don't work on it, if you guys don't work on it, please don't expect large systems to move. Please don't expect corporates to do something about it. I've had dialogues with ethical committees of the UN around AI, although EU has created a policy, but believe you me, this is a tsunami. It's going to be very, very difficult to stop this. So, yeah, I know humanity will definitely become extinct. Here are some concrete things I think we can do. One, a great sense of urgency. Give this at least 25% of your time. Right now, there's such a huge disruption happening. You cannot not engage with it. This is also an adaptive challenge. It's about changing hearts and minds. It's about coming back to the basics. Invest in infrastructure and training. Develop a clear vision. Re-envision your entire educational offering. Please do focus on Jairamji's points on what education, what the purpose of education is, and how you're going to integrate then this tech into it to empower content delivery alone. Pilot programs and implement incrementally. Encourage community and collaborative approaches. Monitor and evaluate. Do a needs assessment within your schools. Build that vision, not just a tech vision, a larger vision. Again, build a core team. Focus on training, reflect and refine, use tracking, do leadership reviews, but really immerse in this. Do not shut your eyes to what is happening. And hopefully, John Hagel says, another futurist, if we do it right, we might be able to evolve a form of work that taps into our uniquely human capabilities and restores our humanity. I really hope we can, and I really also hope we recognize that education is not a race to the top. I'm sorry I'm saying this in an awards function. It's really not a race to the top. It's a journey to get every child across to the promised land. And there is an opportunity to do that right now. And it will be in the hands of all of you, all of us, to work with our children to ensure their humanity is intact, to ensure that thinking is intact, to ensure that they're able to lead productive lives, and hopefully work on this change in a manner that it works out better for the world. Thank you so much.